yesterday morning with some good brothers from Toronto, Canada. Shout out to brother Alex and my other brother who came down from Canada to interview the Prince of Pan-Africanism yesterday before the Source of Knowledge book giveaway. And one of the concerns that they brought up to me as a Pan-Africanist, as the leading Pan-Africanist, as the Prince of Pan-Africanism, they said, Dr. Umar, and I'm paraphrasing, the good brothers brought it to my attention that Kendrick Lamar's song, They Not Like Us, was interpreted by many American Africans to mean that African Canadians are not African, that African Canadians are not African, that African Canadians are not African. Let me say this to the entire African diaspora. Let me say this to the American African and the Canadian African. Let me say this to the American African and the Canadian African. Let me say this to the American African and the Canadian African. We are one people. We are one family. We have one common ancestry. We have one common origin. We have one common source. We are the original people. My American Africans, don't you alienate yourself from Canadian Africans. Canadian Africans, don't you alienate yourself from the American African. We are one family. We are the North American Africans. I said, if you are a Mexican African, a North American African, or a Canadian African, we are collectively the North American Africans. United we stand, divided we fall. My Canadian brothers and sisters, they are my family. Toronto is my family. Montreal is my family. And if anybody tries to make jokes about the Canadian Africans, if anybody tries to say that my brothers and sisters north of the border are not members of the African family, if anybody tries to claim that the Canadian African is not a part, an integral part, an important part of the body of African people, then you are an enemy to Dr. Umar, and you are an enemy to African people, and you are an enemy of the Pan-African struggle.